Pete Hegseth declared victory when the report was leaked out about the Signalgate matter. The full report, or at least a redacted version, is expected to come out today. Here's the triumphant Hegseth tweet. 15, please. And his spokesman said the same thing. And there's no indication I have that the White House is the least bit interested in making any changes at the Pentagon. Here's the Hegseth tweet. No classified information, total exoneration, case closed. Houthis bombed into submission. Thank you for your attention to this IG report. I give him credit for that's pretty funny. So on the Hill today is the head of the Joint Chiefs and the Admiral, who, based on the current chronology, I think they had 17 different stories, but the current chronology, a lot of people would say this is fine. Not everybody, but a lot of people would say what happened was they said we got to kill everybody on the boat. We got to destroy the boat. They tried to kill everybody on the boat and destroy the boat, and then they didn't. And then the admiral leading the mission said, well, all right, let's destroy the boat. And then they killed the two people. So they weren't trying to kill the two people. They were trying to destroy the boat. And according to the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times and others, the two people were seen trying to they weren't helpless. They were trying to radio colleagues and trying to salvage the cargo. Lastly, Wall Street Journal story. This is an important story. Well, two things, important stories, I should say. 13. Not the admiral who's on the Hill today, but Admiral Halsey, not the one from the Paul McCartney song, different guy, was fired, forced to resign by Hegseth after months of discord. And if you read the Journal story, and you should, both this admiral and his lawyer, the official lawyer, did not like the way Hegseth was ordering them to do the operation in the Caribbean. So Halsey according to the Journal, he didn't speak to them, but somebody spoke to them, whether it was him or somebody else, making it clear that they don't necessarily see eye to eye with the legality of this mission overall, not necessarily just this one double tap thing. And then the Washington Post has a story with a provocative headline, not totally borne out by the story, number 14, Republicans begin to tighten screws and Hegseth's Pentagon. GOP frustration with Trump's defense secretary has intensified, with some lawmakers questioning their confidence in him as key committees pursue an aggressive oversight campaign. So we don't know what's going to happen after the folks speak today. Interesting in that story, something I did not know, but buried down in that story is John Thune twice has been asked, do you support Secretary Hegseth? And according to the Washington Post, he said, I'm going to let other people decide on that. That seems unsupportive compared to what it might be. So, Kristen, where are we with the whole narrative of both congressional oversight of this mission and Hegseth, Signalgate, etc., in the wake of the last 24 hours? Where are we going now with this?
I think we'll get to the weekend and it'll be gone. To be honest, I think that all the news that has come out settles it to some degree. Look, when people in DC get together, especially now it's Christmas party season, so you have everyone from all different agencies kind of get together. One of the main, topics for conversation is which cabinet secretary will be the first to swap out. And Pete Hegseth's name is never mentioned. Like, I've never heard him mentioned as one of the people that, as at the top of the list to go. There are many other people, many other secretaries, I think, that people speculate. So I think he survived and advanced this whole situation. I think, senators like Thune and others, I don't know if they were huge fans of Hegseth to begin with, so they don't feel the need to, go on camera and defend him. I think that's a fine answer. I mean, just as Hegseth survived and advanced the issue, I think Thune survives and advances the question, just like many of the others. But I think it's going to be fine, and I think that I don't know necessarily if there will be more to come out of it. I think they pretty much laid out what they believe happened, and Democrats could probably push on it, but I don't see it as being a building issue that will go for longer than a few days.
Haima, dead by the weekend or sustaining?
I think dead by. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Haima, go ahead.
No, look, I agree with you, Kristen. I think it's dead by the weekend. I think what we've seen over the last year is Pete Hegseth has been able to evade these tough moments and emerge in some ways even stronger than before. And it seems like, to Kristen's point, he still has the president's confidence. But Democrats have been, look, Kristen knows this, Democrats are going to start using these wedge issues to draw some sort of spotlight on members of the president's cabinet that they think they want to push the media to talk about getting pushed out. one of the big conversations in Trump one was how much change he had in that White House, and he has not done that this year. And then so I think Democrats would like to see that happen, to start some shuffling, and they like to have that conversation piece. But it seems like Pete Hegseth is going to survive this again.
Yeah, and one way he may survive it, this seems to be helping him and certainly helps him in the White House, I think, is they've replaced the whole press corps. They kicked out
Right.
the traditional news organizations. Here's the New York Times this morning, 16. I don't know why they announced it so early, but this morning at dawn, they announced that they were suing the Pentagon and saying, number 16, please, that that it's a violation of the newspaper's First Amendment rights that they're kicked out of the Pentagon for coverage at the time they were, simply because of how they were covering the Pentagon, basic principle of America. And here's something that's getting a lot of attention in the media. Number 17, John Conrad, one of the reporters, I say that in air quotes, allowed to cover the Pentagon now, tweeted this: Hegseth answered my questions. It's off the record, so no details, but I'm very pleased with his leadership. Michael, who does John Conrad work for? I meant to look it up, but I know he's one of the sort of the new.
I think he's an independent.
Independent. All right. But just to button up this Hegseth thing, are you both confident that there's no thread still to be pulled on the second tap, or do you think there might be, and that it could cause more problems?
Look, I'm not fully confident in it. I think one of the things that I've been very disappointed, regardless of politics, in just the lack of professionalism with the secretary and the Pentagon. But this is a slippery slope. We talked about this a lot, Mark, in with you over the last couple of months, couple of weeks. But when the press corps is still very important to American culture. Very important to getting information out. And I think when you start walling them out, like the Pentagon, like Secretary Hegseth has done, then it's a slippery slope, and we get into some anti-Americanism that we gotta talk about.
Yeah, Kristen, I know you said you don't hear Hegseth's name, but I've been surprised. I've heard from veterans and Trump supporters, and in many cases both, who've said to me privately, the stuff with the press being kicked out, the stuff with the double tap, the stuff with the changing positions, and reflected in pretty lukewarm support on the Hill, that they actually disagree with your premise, and they think that his support may be soft, and that he may go. So this press stuff, does this play well for him with the White House?
From the beginning, he was always kind of the one pick that never really had a lot of people celebrating. So I think, like, even during the confirmation process, you heard his name mentioned, like, oh, there's no way he's going to get confirmed. And he did, and he keeps surviving. I think that when you look at all the different secretaries and all the different agencies, to look at it by issue, I think the ones that are in danger are the ones that are tied to a policy that makes the president look bad. And right now, if he can survive this episode, it doesn't make the president look bad. And at the end of the day, the Department of War makes the president look strong. Right. And so I think that the guy in charge of the department that makes the president strong is going to be the first one to go. Someone that's tied to the economy or something that is directly impacting the policy will be first on the chopping block versus someone who's strong.
Totally agree. And again, you can't overstate the level of confidence the White House expresses. If our opponents want to be on the side of not killing drug dealers, let them do it. And that's maybe a sad commentary on some things, but it's the reality. All right. They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America. And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.